I think people are becoming to realise that the fear campaign that's been run by the government holds no water, that in fact the UK economy will do better outside of the European Union and that we'll be able to resolve those fundamental issues that people are worried about. For example, who is it exactly that governs Britain, and the issues of migration, which are not just social issues but are also economic issues in their own right.
So, John, clearly you argue that in the long term, Britain's economic future would be better outside of the EU. It's pretty widely accepted that in the short term there would be a period of uncertainty. And lots of people trying to gauge exactly how long that period of short-term uncertainty would be. This morning, or over the weekend, Donald Tusk saying that it would take 7 years for the UK to renegotiate various trade deals. That's rather a long period of uncertainty, isn't it?
Well, it's absolutely laughable that people will make those sorts of statements. I mean, for a start, the biggest amount of uncertainty and the greatest risk is actually staying in the European Union, because the European Union can only develop in one of two ways. Either the Eurozone consolidates in order to survive, because the history of currency unions is that they cannot survive unless there's fiscal, economic and political integration. The Eurozone will make all the decisions. Britain, which is only one of two countries who said they will not join the Euro, will be on the margins. We'll have no say. We'll have to pay for the privilege of being a member. We'll have to swallow all the regulations and we'll have no freedom to act. The second possibility is the thing that the former governor of the Bank of England has predicted, which is the Eurozone itself will explode. And we don't want to be in the same room when that bomb goes off, clearing up the mess and paying for it. That's real uncertainty. Real certainty is actually to take control of your own affairs in one's own economy, which is what leaving the European Union will allow us to do. And that way, the real economy will actually perform very, very well from the very start of our deciding to leave. It should be remembered, of course, that the day after our Independence Day, nothing will change. And in fact, until we invoke Article 50 and finish our discussions with the EU, nothing will change. So while the markets might react for a little while, because markets always overreact, of course, as we know, currency markets and stock markets, they will very quickly realise that actually the real economy hasn't changed at all, and that gradually the real economy will do better and better. So the markets will react to that, and within a very short period of time, John, they will revert to the norm.
John, if you're so certain that the economy would do better by Britain leaving, then why are the most credible institutions, from the Bank of England to the IMF to the OECD, I mean, you name it, even businesses across Europe and within the UK, saying that it would be very harmful to jobs, to the economy, to the pound, potentially to public finances, to leave?
Well, first of all, let me make it clear that the majority of businesses in the UK actually want to leave the European Union. The biggest business survey in the country was carried out by the British Chambers of Commerce only a few weeks ago, and it identified that businesses that trade only in the domestic market and businesses that only export to the rest of the world, actually the majority want to leave. Now that group represents 87% of the UK economy and 94% of all businesses. So they're very clear what they think. As for the institutions you mentioned, many of those institutions are vested within the European Union project. They are funded by the European Union, they're funded by the UK government, and they have a vested interest in continuing with the European project.